if you need storage solution for a shelf that's up high, but you can't reach up there all the time, then this genius solution is just for you. You'll have to watch the video though to see how I made it. When I made the last unit for these shelves, I kind of knew then what I wanted to do for this one. The only problem was I didn't know how I would be able to do the lowering mechanism. Later on in the video I go through what I came up with and the final option that I use. Of course it's great to use the plunge saw again, and I now definitely wish that it was one of my first power tools that I had bought. I certainly wouldn't have then gone and got a table saw, especially with the amount of space that they take up. I just didn't know at the time how I could set it all up. But with this build, using the combination of the plunge saw and the miter saw to cut all of the main pieces was a good feeling. The sides, well, I didn't want them to be just plain with all the straight sides. I wanted them to come down to a point so that along with a low front you will be able to see what was in there. Speaking of what I'm going to put in there, it will be epoxy resin along with the mixing pots, etc. As you've seen, in order to have both sides look the same, I just did the classic, mark out and cut one of them and then copy that onto the other one. Moving on to assembly, and really I could have done the sides with the back first or even the sides with the base first. Instead I went with assembling the base and the back. And yes, I went with the process of drill, countersink and then screw. In order to get the positioning squares into the right position, I use a scrap piece of 12mm plywood against the edges. This makes it easier to get the sides into the correct position in one go. Well, apart from that the back was slightly out of square, so I did have to force the sides backwards a little bit. There was a little bit of battle with this side, but then using an extra clamp to force it into position, it worked a treat. It was just a relief to finally get it all secured in place with the screws. Now, one thing that you don't see on the video is that once I got the unit fully made up and checked it on the shelf for a fit, it was a little bit too long and tall. So eventually I had to trim it all down to a better fit. Right, then that's the main box for the shelf made. In order to make it to be lowered, I have to come up with a mechanism to do so. So I've been thinking about it, and I've had a couple of ideas on how to do that. And it's not really more the mechanism, but it's more the securing the parts together. So at first I did this, which is using nuts and bolts, and if you think this back panel is going to go onto the shelf, and then you would have that motion but as you see, it doesn't quite work as well. So then I thought, what about just using like one arm, shall we call them, but make it bigger than what they are, so hopefully it would be more stable. So I came up with this, and imagine if this with the hole in is the actual box, and it would lower, so that hopefully it would end up somewhere like that. And with this I've just used dowels, and in the dowels I'll put some screws in with a washer around it to hopefully keep it all in place. As I said, this mechanism was a brain buster. It really did take me a while to work out how to do it. I will say that if you were to make one of these, then it's better not to have to try and fit it onto an existing shelf. Instead, have it as a standalone unit, where it would be best to use two arms, unlike the single one that I will use. I'll just leave you with watching making the mechanism unit, or make sure you check out my bandsaw skills on the arms. They've improved. storage solution sorted with the arms on either side. It does sway a little bit, but if you don't mind your things rocking, it can work to help get things out. You can also put dividers in, depending on what you're going to put in there. But for me, it works a treat. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like the video. It will help me to get closer to being monetized. So until the next time, Gang Canyon Man.